Right. You're a single mom, aren't you? Probably not much money to your name. You can wait until the end. Just sit tight. Even if we calculate your waiting time in hourly wages, it's cheap, right? Yay, yeah, move back, move back.
When I went to the bank with my son, Nathan, to withdraw some money, the bank clerk, realizing I was a single mother, looked down on us. We were made to wait for hours. My anger was reaching its peak when Nathan whispered,
If we withdraw the $60 million we have deposited, we could shut this place down, couldn't we?
We, mother and son, smiled slyly at each other. My name is Emily Johnson. I live with my husband, Daniel, and our young son, Nathan, who just started kindergarten. Daniel and I met at a mixer during our college years. At the time, I was busy studying to enter law school. Daniel, who was attending medical school at Harvard University, was also busy with his clinical rotations. We both thought the mixer might be a nice break from studying, but fate is a strange thing that casual thought ended up shaping our entire lives. We hit it off and exchanged contact details that same day, and by the next week, we were studying together in the library. My university was a public one, so the tuition was relatively affordable, but I needed to save up to take the bar exam for my law school. Daniel, busy with his medical school, couldn't work much either, and money was tight. Our dates were mostly studying together in the library or at each other's homes, and occasionally grabbing lunch, but still, the days I spent with Daniel were incredibly happy. 4 years passed since we met, and I was in my final year of law school when I passed the bar exam. Daniel also passed his medical licensing exam, and as soon as our training periods were over, we got married. For a while, we were busy working as a fledgling lawyer and doctor. Our jobs were demanding, and our home was often in disarray, with no time to attend to it. I wanted to cook nutritious meals for Daniel, but I was too occupied with my own job. There were many times when our trash bags were filled with frozen food packages and takeout containers. Daniel never complained about the neglected housework, but he too was in no position to contribute. Though I rarely had to pull all-nighters, Daniel often worked until late at night due to his job as a doctor. It felt like we had been running together ever since our intense student days. 10 years into our marriage, we were blessed with a child. My law firm said, "Please don't quit. We'll cover your bar registration fees while you're on leave, and we hope you'll return once you're done with child rearing." But Daniel, still in the midst of his demanding career, wished for me to take a break, so I decided to put a pause on my career as a lawyer. I waited until my current cases wrapped up before resigning from the law firm. Suddenly, time seemed to slow down. I could finally focus on our home, the baby on the way, and Daniel. It was a stark contrast to our previously hectic life. We named our child Nathan. He grew up smart, able to read and write alphabets by the age of 2. By the time he entered the kindergarten, he could read an analog clock and would start reading the news on the computer with Daniel, then explain it to me on our walks to and from the kindergarten. I was amazed by his rapid growth, but Daniel just laughed it off as normal. According to Daniel's mother, he was similar as a child. But perhaps the peak of my life was those peaceful years I spent as a housewife, raising young Nathan alongside Daniel. When Nathan was 5, we went skiing in the winter. It was a sunny morning, perfect for skiing, but by evening, when we were about to head home, the weather turned. As we hurried back, Daniel said, I see something like a hat in an off-course snowdrift. Someone might have fallen. I'll go check. I had a bad feeling, but I knew I couldn't stop him. Daniel, who worked in and prioritized saving lives, couldn't just ignore someone who might be in danger. If only I had forcefully stopped Daniel at that moment. No matter how much I regret it, it doesn't change what happened. As Daniel approached the snowdrift, a fierce blizzard hit, blinding us. I could barely protect my young son, Nathan, holding him tightly. When the visibility cleared, Daniel was nowhere to be seen. The rescue team arrived quickly, but Daniel had already passed away, suffocated and frozen by the snow. I couldn't even cry. Under the frighteningly cleared blue winter sky, I stood frozen, holding Nathan. Daniel, who had been laughing and skiing with us just moments ago, was gone. Memories of our time together since we met flashed through my mind. Daniel was always serious, smart, and straightforward. In front of me, Nathan was stunned but didn't cry.
Dad was trying to help the person who lost his hat, right?
Realizing everything, the 5-year-old Nathan understood it all. Yes, he was trying to help, was all I could say. Nathan hugged me tightly.
Don't worry, Mom. I'll protect you. I'll take care of you.
From then on, there was a gaping hole in my heart. True to his word, Nathan, with his small body, tried his best to help and protect me. But it was me who needed to truly protect him. Now, without Daniel, it was my responsibility to take care of Nathan. The unknown future filled me with fear. Daniel, as a doctor, had left us with some inheritance. But Nathan was only 5. I didn't know how much money would be needed in the future. Considering his intelligence, he might want to become a doctor like Daniel. Medical school tuition is expensive, and the inheritance wouldn't cover it. It would be great if I could return to work as a lawyer, but working full-time while raising young Nathan was daunting. I wanted to at least work part-time to earn some living expenses, but my health, deteriorating since Daniel's death, made even that difficult. I felt anxious as our savings steadily decreased.
Don't worry, Mom. I'll protect you. I'll grow up fast.
Nathan's comforting words and hugs were my only solace. Nathan would quickly finish the books I gave him, so buying new ones all the time was costly. We frequented the local library, where he read voraciously. By the time he graduated from kindergarten, he could write nearly all the high school level English. With his expanding ability to read more, the range of books he could read grew rapidly. Nathan, reading everything from any genre, soon knew more trivia than I ever did. Alone, without anyone to rely on, and having lost my beloved husband, Nathan's growth was the only light in my life. A few years later, Nathan turned 9. His passion for reading hadn't changed, but a significant change came into my life. When Nathan entered 4th grade, I returned to work as a lawyer. I always loved the legal profession, and I had the experience of working tirelessly through my 20s. A month into my return, I regained my professional intuition and could handle the workload. By then, my health, which had been fragile since losing Daniel, had finally stabilized, and the nightmares that used to wake me up at night had decreased. Still, balancing work as a lawyer and household chores was tough. Preparing meals for Nathan and doing laundry were all I could manage. There was no time for myself. I could only hurriedly apply my makeup foundation in the office restroom in the morning. Often, I went to bed without removing my makeup, and my wardrobe, limited to the suits I wore for work, was outdated. I declined a college reunion invitation, embarrassed by my current state, and returned home feeling somewhat gloomy. When I opened the door, there was Nathan, sitting in front of a brand new computer with a sparkle in his eyes. Nathan, what's with the computer?
I got it as a prize. Remember the TV quiz show I participated in? I wanted to keep it a secret until it aired, but I won, Mom. And this computer was the prize. Cool, right?
You won? Why didn't you tell me earlier? That's amazing, Nathan. You're just like your dad. I hugged him tightly. With this computer, Nathan's life began to move forward rapidly. A year had passed since he won the computer in the quiz show. He spent most of his time at home on the computer. At first, I helped Nathan with the computer, but that only lasted a day or two. Soon, he was buying specialized books from the bookstore and quickly absorbing the knowledge. He was always quick at reading, and after I started working full-time again, I could buy him lots of books. Nathan's study desk quickly filled up with books on programming languages. I've only ever really dealt with law, so I know nothing about computer languages like Java or C++. Nathan, my own child, seemed almost dazzling to me, almost as if he wasn't my own. Daniel, it seems he's taken after you, excelling in the sciences. I caught myself speaking to the night sky. Nathan sometimes read my old college books too. Thinking about what path he might choose in the future, I no longer felt the same fear I did right after losing Daniel. Nathan would carve out his own strong path in life and society. I'm confident about that. We always visit Daniel's grave on his anniversary, and this year was no different. As we were walking to the bank to withdraw some money before buying a new computer for Nathan, a man suddenly bumped into me from behind, causing me to almost lose my balance. The man, wearing a shiny long coat and a flashy, tasteless watch, snarled, "Move it, you're in the way," before tossing the rude remark over his shoulder. What the? I wanted to retort, but remembering it was Daniel's anniversary, I held back, avoiding any trouble or harsh words.
Mom, are you hurt?
Nathan asked, and I hugged him tightly. Thanks, I'm fine. Are you okay? That must have startled you.
Yeah, maybe that man was in a hurry, but it's unforgivable that he bumped into you.
Haha, you're so kind, Nathan. But don't worry, I'm fine.
Welcome. How can I assist you today?
Arriving at the bank, we were greeted with a smile so warm it blew away the unpleasantness from before. The receptionist, Smith as her nameplate indicated, quickly prepared our documents and gave us a number.
It's quite busy today, so it might take some time. Please have a seat on the sofa over there.
We sat down on the sofa.
Mom, isn't that person?
Nathan suddenly exclaimed in surprise. I gasped as well. The man who had bumped into me was now sitting at the counter.
Yes, hand me those papers.
The bank clerk, seeming not to regard us as customers, took the papers with an indifferent attitude.
I'll proceed with your transaction. Just wait over there.
After scribbling on the papers, he returned them dismissively. What's with him? I thought, holding back my urge to complain. It's Dad's anniversary. We shouldn't complain, right? I smiled at Nathan.
What? You guys are really a single mother and son? Huh? A pair of poor people. Poor people can wait and wait.
I was shocked to hear such unbelievable words coming from the bank employee. Nathan stood agape. Don't worry about it, Nathan. Let's read a book instead. I tapped his shoulder and pulled out the book I brought. Nathan, clearly angry, nodded and began reading his specialized book. However, our number never got called. At first, I thought it was just because it was busy. But as we waited and grew bored, I noticed that customers who arrived after us were being called and served. I thought it might be a misunderstanding, but it wasn't. The elderly man who came in just after us and sat on the neighboring sofa finished his transaction and left. Even a businessman who seemed to have arrived after we started reading also completed his business and left.
Mom, let's be good today. Dad would wait quietly.
Nathan said, stopping me as I was about to stand up and complain. You're right, I said with a wry smile and opened the book again. As a mother, I was constantly being reminded by Nathan. After nearly 3 hours of waiting, even Nathan seemed to be getting irritated. Nathan, I'll go ask. Don't worry, I'll be polite. I won't do anything Dad wouldn't like. I reassured him, and he nodded after a moment's thought. Excuse me, we're number 57. We've been waiting for nearly 3 hours. I approached the counter, holding back my irritation and asking as politely as I could.
What? 3 hours? That's fine. It's busy here. Poor people like you are always last.
Poor people like us?
Yes, you're a single mother, right? Probably don't have much money anyway. You can wait till the end. Even if we calculate your waiting time in hourly wages, it's cheap, right? Yay, yeah, move back, move back.
Wait, you changed the order of customers based on that. Then, just as I was about to forget my promise to Nathan and retort, I felt a tap on my back. Turning around, Nathan stood there with a beaming smile.
Mom, if we withdraw the $60 million we have in this bank, what happens to the bank?
What nonsense are you talking about, kid? You guys don't have that kind of money. Maybe $600,000? No, probably not even that.
I couldn't stand it when he insulted Nathan too, and just as I was about to speak up, the branch manager burst out of the back room at great speed. Smith must have informed him, as I could see her following him.
Miller, what are you saying?
Branch manager.
Miller, the bank clerk, looked shocked as he saw the manager's face.
Miller, how dare you speak to our customers like that?
But, branch manager, this is
our esteemed customer, Johnson, and her son.
Miller looked as if he had been hit by a bolt from the blue.
This person is Emily Johnson. I had no idea.
Mrs. Johnson, we are terribly sorry for the rude behavior of our staff, Miller, and for making you wait for so long. Please, come this way.
We were then escorted to the back room.
We deeply apologize for the inconvenience.
Once inside, Smith brought us warm tea and small sweets, and another staff member quickly proceeded with our transaction. In fact, this branch had $60 million in my name. Of course, it wasn't the money I earned just as a lawyer. Nathan, who had become completely engrossed in computer programming and app development, created a game with his friends that became a huge hit. I set up a company in my name and put the money there. His friends who developed the app with him were all graduate students or freelance engineers, but Nathan, still a primary school student, was in charge of the main part of the development. The game app wasn't just a one-time release. It required maintenance and frequent updates, and Nathan was mainly responsible for those as well. When simple legal knowledge was needed during development, he read my law books and handled it himself. Nathan, even as a primary school student, had completely relieved me of financial worries and even gave me dreams. He was mostly managing the deposit. However, deposit management was all done online, so there was little need to visit the bank in person. Usually, when I come to the bank, it's during a break from work, and I would be wearing a formal suit. Today, however, we were in our casual clothes, which might be why Miller didn't recognize me. Or perhaps he was new to the branch and hasn't seen me before. Either way, it's outrageous and extremely rude to discriminate and treat customers differently based on their appearance. We asked the branch manager to properly retrain Miller for the sake of other customers and left the bank. At the grave visit, I talked to Daniel about how Nathan was today. Unlike me, who almost wanted to complain, Nathan remained calm throughout, and he gently supported me. We talk about his game app every time we visit, but I mentioned it again. Dad, Nathan's game has been out for half a year, but the number of subscribers is still growing. And every time we release new skins or items, the sales go through the roof. Nathan writes most of the main coding.
But I can't draw, so all the artwork is done by Andrew.
Nathan said happily. Nathan, who loves computers and books too much, doesn't seem to have many close friends at school. So, working together with older peers to create something must be even more enjoyable for him. He said he can talk about complex topics with his development team, which he can't do with his school friends. He seems to be studying new programming languages too. I reported with a smile. Dad, I'll protect Mom for sure. Nathan waved his hand joyfully.
It was very hard when you passed away, Dad, but because you're not here, I felt I had to protect Mom. That's why I tried making the app and strive to write better codes. It makes me want to study more. I really miss you, Dad, but I feel like I am who I am today because of you.
Nathan.
When I grow up, I'm going to help not just Mom, but many others who have lost someone like you, Dad.
Nathan declared in front of Daniel's grave. Nathan went on to attend prestigious middle and high schools, always maintaining top grades, and enrolled in the same medical school at Harvard University as Daniel. He passed both the preliminary legal examinations and the medical licensing exam while still in college. The media covered Nathan's dual successes, speculating whether he would pursue medicine or become a prosecutor. However, Nathan seemed determined to continue his company from the start. The company he founded in elementary school for game app development, which had been mostly dormant since middle school, was restarted after his college graduation. He also began actively employing single mothers in the company. I resigned from the law firm where I worked and joined Nathan's company as a legal officer. Applying the knowledge and experience I gained as a lawyer at my son's company has been a joy. Additionally, as many single mothers work there, overtime is basically prohibited. I can now go home on time every day and take care of household matters at my own pace. While I love legal work, I also need time to relax and face my own life. About a year after Nathan restarted the company, he told me that Smith, the receptionist at the bank from that time, came for a job interview. It had been over a decade, but they both recognized each other instantly. The rude bank clerk Miller was fired after that incident. Smith, who was also facing harassment from Miller, had already submitted her resignation. As a single mother herself, she had faced many challenges, but those days were over. Smith, adept at caring for others, became an indispensable executive secretary in Nathan's company. Nathan, Smith, her daughter, and I go out for dinner once a month. When he gets a little tipsy, Nathan always says, "Life is stranger than fiction, and it's the most interesting thing." Apparently, Nathan has even asked Smith's daughter out for dinner, just the two of them. She doesn't seem to mind. Life is unpredictable. Today, as I finish work and walk home in the sunset, I speak to Daniel in my heart. "Daniel, please keep watching over Nathan and me." I felt like the first star twinkled just then.